Some people go for a walk in the woods to find peace, while others embark on an adventure. There are also those who venture into the woods, only to stumble upon the most baffling discoveries, from artifacts supposedly used by Robin Hood to a strange pair of eyes. Welcome to a new video. Here are the 15 strange things found in the woods. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Now let's get started. Number 15. A medieval ring worn by the infamous Robin Hood. When you hear the word Sherwood, what comes to mind is perhaps Robin Hood, who lived in the heart of Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. The forest was much larger in Robin Hood's time and stretched over 100,000 acres. Today, only a small fraction of the ancient forest remains. Robin Hood is an established figure in folklore, but we may never know if he was a real person or not. Robin Hood might have been nothing more than a small-time thief, rather than a hero who stole from the rich to give to the poor, but his story will live on. Perhaps this ring's links to the outlaw caused its price to skyrocket to $46,000 in today's money. Discovered in the medieval Robin Hood Sherwood Forest by Mark Thompson, a 34-year-old amateur treasure hunter, the ring adorned with a vibrant sapphire stone likely belonged to a person of great wealth and status. During the medieval period, sapphires were highly prized during this time not only for their beauty. They were believed to possess beauty, but also for their mystical properties. Experts think that it could have been a prized possession of a noble member or the clergy, given its religious engravings of an infant Christ on one side and a female saint on the other. Experts have since authenticated the ring, confirming its medieval origins. It was likely made 250 years after Robin Hood was thought to have roamed the area. Although it was not directly related to the legendary outlaw, the location where it was discovered added to its value. The ring was auctioned off at Christie's, where it was expected to fetch a high price. The exact amount the ring was sold for has not been revealed, but we know for a fact that Mark never got the actual amount that was fetched for the ring, as the rule dictates that the finder will split the proceeds half and half with the owner. Now here's a question. If you found something valuable in the woods, would you report it to the authorities, or would you keep it to yourself? Depending on what you found, you could keep it all a secret, but if you were in Thompson's position, you probably would have done the same thing he did. Report it to the authorities. Number 14. A silver arrow used by Robin Hood. Now here is another amazing discovery made in Nottinghamshire, and once again, it has links to the infamous figure of Robin Hood. In 2021, Cush Ray, a 32-year-old tattoo artist, made a rare discovery whilst magnet fishing in a river with his friend in Nottinghamshire. Ray pulled out a medieval arrowhead which historians believe dates back to the 12th or 13th century, a period often associated with a legendary outlaw. This discovery has generated considerable excitement, especially as Budby is located close to Sherwood Forest, the legendary haunt of Robin Hood and his merry men, the arrowheads. The proximity to the eldest tree, supposedly used by Robin Hood as a hideout, also made this seemingly ordinary arrow even more valuable, while some have speculated that this arrow could be related to the legendary silver arrow won by Robin Hood in a famous archery contest. Some believed that other than where it was found, there was nothing extraordinary about the object. Regardless of the truth behind the arrow, Ray still believed he had stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Number 13. A mysterious human skull. In October 2020, a hiker made a chilling discovery deep within the remote Durai State Forest, located near the New South Wales border with Queensland. He found a human skull partially buried in the undergrowth of the dense and isolated forest. I don't know about you, but such a find is enough to send me running. This discovery eventually led to forensic teams rushing to the site to determine if the hiker found historical remains as evidence of a crime. The authorities who stumbled upon the skull believed that the skull looked and felt like it had been there for a while. The forest was once a favourite place for gold prospectors to work, so this skull could have been the remains of someone who perished in the area over a decade ago to this day. However, the truth behind this skull remains unknown. Number 12. 20-million-year-old petrified tree. High in the mountains of northern Greece, nestled amongst the rugged landscapes of the Pendos Mountains, is a petrified tree that is 20 million years old. Yes, you heard right. This impressive 82-foot tall tree was discovered during roadworks near the island's famous petrified forest. And despite its age, this tree was well preserved with its branches, roots, and even delicate leaves still intact after all these millennia. Ironically, the same thing that kept this tree preserved for millions of years is the reason for its death. The preservation of this tree is due to a cataclysmic volcanic eruption that covered the entire forest in ash and lava, much like the infamous eruption that buried Pompeii. The thick volcanic ash combined with heavy rainfall transformed the area into a fossilization hotspot, preserving the tree in astonishing detail. The petrified tree now inhabits a UNESCO World Geographic Park. It has been a treasure for scientists, but this forest is unique, even by those high standards. It is the first time in 25 years that a tree with such intact characteristics has been discovered in the area, making it an important milestone in understanding the region's ancient ecosystems. Number 11. A spooky green box discovered in the woods. Last March, users of an online forum were abuzz after a post made by an Australian man who found a mysterious green box while walking along a track in Katoomba in the heart of the Blue Mountains. The box was found chained to a tree at the base of a popular hiking trail. The box has sparked a frenzy of online speculation. Some suggest it could be a geocache, a hidden container used in a global treasure hunting game where participants use GPS to find hidden treasures. Others, however, believe the box could contain many more sinister items. For now, the box remains sealed. Do you have any theories about what could be inside? Let me know in the comments below. Number 10. Rare Asian unicorn spotted in the forest. When you think of unicorns, you probably don't think of this creature, but it's almost as rare and elusive as the mythical creature. This creature is often referred to as the Asian unicorn. It is native to the Limite mountain range, a rugged mountain range that straddles the border between Vietnam and Laos. This area is known for its rich biodiversity that is home to many species found nowhere else on Earth with its habitat and elusive nature. It's no surprise that it wasn't until 1992 that researchers discovered this creature, and only a handful of sightings of it have been recorded since. The animal resembles an antelope with long, thin horns, but has striking white facial markings and sleek brown fur that sets it apart. But last year in 2023, conservationists in Vietnam's central body spotted a SAR. This is the first time in over a decade that this enigmatic creature has been documented in the wild, and this recent sighting is a victory for those working tirelessly to protect the species. Conservation efforts have been stepped up in recent years to protect the SAR from the dual threats of habitat loss and illegal hunting. The sighting of the SAL is testament to the success of these initiatives, although much work remains to be done to ensure the survival of the species. Number 9. A 1,900-year-old Roman superhighway. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Roman invaders built a road. Today, after millennia, archaeologists have discovered the 15-t high and 85-foot wide road. Amazingly, it contains no potholes that cover modern roads. This ancient superhighway had a central cobbled street designed for rapid troop movements with additional paths for livestock and deep ditches for drainage. This is one of the largest Roman roads we have come across in recent years, and it is likely that its size was meant to be intimidating. They were built shortly after the Roman conquest in the 1st century. Its scale was probably chosen to show off the prowess of the Roman legion to the people living nearby. Although it looks like nothing more than an ordinary road today, thousands of years ago it was one of the most extensive Roman roads ever built. Number 8. A bear and mad honey. Deep in the remote mountains of Turkey, there are bees that collect nectar from the lair flowers. Now these bees produce a particularly lethal type of mad honey. In small quantities, mad honey can induce mild euphoria, dizziness, and even hallucinations, which is why it has been used for centuries in traditional medicine. The effects of the honey were first documented by ancient Greek soldiers in 401 BC, during their retreat through the Black Sea region. As recorded by the historian Xenophon, they unwittingly consumed it and were struck down not by enemy forces, but by the potent effects of the honey. This is because rhododendron flowers contain granotoxins, a group of neurotoxins that have some pretty interesting effects. In the summer of 2022, in the province of Dua in northwestern Turkey, a bear cub was discovered stumbling and whimpering in the forest. Something seemed wrong with the cub, and it didn't take long to figure out exactly what was wrong. The young animal consumed too much mad honey, and so the bear, affectionately named Balkus, meaning honey girl, was rushed by wildlife officials to the nearest vet. Fortunately, she made a full recovery and was later released back into the wild. Number 7. Perfectly working Soviet spy radio. Found in the woods in the late 1980s, manufactured by the Soviet Union, this was spyware designed for high-frequency communications. It was capable of transmitting encrypted messages at distances of up to 750 miles. The device itself was split into 3 main modules: the transmitter, the receiver, and a digital storage unit. These components were cleverly designed to only work when all three were together, a clever safeguard against unauthorized use. It came as a surprise when in 2019, archaeologists excavating near the Germany column discovered the same spyware used by the Soviets. What was intended to be a routine excavation of a Roman villa in the Hayamsi forest turned into an unexpected discovery. This is a perfectly preserved Soviet spy radio code named STAR or SWIFT, or formerly R Unit 394 km. The device, manufactured in 1987 in the Soviet Union, was probably buried just before the Iron Curtain fell in 1989. It was in perfect condition and only had one battery it needed to function perfectly. It was probably intended for covert operations, possibly monitoring nearby sensitive sites like the Ulish Nuclear Research Center and Northern Air Base, both critical locations during the Cold War. What's more interesting is that most Soviet radios were labeled in Cyrillic, but this one featured Roman letters, meaning it was probably intended for an agent familiar with Western languages. Number 6. The pine planted over a millennium ago. In the highlands of northern Greece, nestled within the ancient Pindos Mountains, stood one of the oldest known trees in Europe, Adonis. Adonis is Bosnian. The pine that researchers say was planted over 1,000 years ago. Adonis was just a seedling when the Byzantine Empire was flourishing, and its life has witnessed a millennium of history. From the rise and fall of empires to the discovery of the New World and the dawn of the digital age. The amazing thing about this tree is that researchers weren't looking for it in the first place when they discovered it. Scientists led by dendrochronologist Paul Kusk of Stockholm University were studying Earth's climate using tree ring chronologies when they accidentally found this ancient tree. Imagine their surprise when they found a tree with 1.75 growth rings indicating its age. Despite the harsh environment and limited soil nutrients in the Pindos Mountains, Adonis continued to thrive for over a millennium. The secret is quite simple. The region has remained relatively untouched by human activity for over 1,000 years, this isolation having protected these ancient trees from the logging of land use changes that have claimed so many other ancient forests. Issue 5. Over 100 ancient graffiti found carved into trees. Thanks to a project by the New Forest National Park Authority, over 100 examples of historic graffiti carved into the bark of ancient trees in the forest in England have been documented. It turns out that humans like to leave their marks everywhere. Even in ancient times, these engravings date back centuries and range from simple messages to terrifying witch marks, symbols believed to ward off evil spirits. These marks, often concentric circles, were thought to protect against malevolent forces, a practice that dates back to England's deeply rooted traditions of folklore and superstition. Among the graffiti were also king's marks or arrowhead-shaped symbols used by the Royal Navy in the 18th and early 19th centuries to mark trees reserved for shipbuilding. Despite their original purpose, many of these marked trees were never cut down and have instead stood the test of time. It seems that the tradition of carving messages into the trees of the forest continued into the 20th century, when experts also found messages from soldiers stationed in the forest during World War II. Issue 4. Cartographer finds Bronze Age jewellery in Sweden. In April 2021, a Swedish hiker stumbled upon a treasure trove of jewellery buried in the forest near Alinga, Sweden. What he found is not just any treasure trove of jewellery, but one dating back to the Bronze Age. The find, consisting of around 50 artifacts, dates back more than 2,500 years and is believed to have belonged to a high-ranking woman during the Late Bronze Age. The items include intricate neck rings, bronze spirals, arm rings, and even a bronze axe head, all of which are remarkably well preserved given their age. Unlike typical burial sites, this hoard was not found in a grave but hidden beneath a rock in a mountainous wooded area. This has led experts to speculate that the jewellery could have been part of a ceremonial offering or display of wealth, similar to the potlatch ceremonies practiced by some indigenous cultures, where valuables are given away to demonstrate power and status. Little did the hiker know that a routine hike would lead him to discover one of the largest hoards ever excavated from the Late Bronze Age in the nation, to the discovery of the New World. Number 3. A medieval hoard. At first glance, these grey objects might look like nothing more than strange rock formations, but if you look closely, you will see that they are actually coins. Yes, you heard right. These are coins that were used around 1320 in what is now Germany, Switzerland, and France. 1,500 pieces of these medieval coins were discovered in Germany's Black Forest in May 2024. They were found in the village of Glau during the routine construction of the oil pipeline line, and the quantity of coins led to the hoard being referred to as the largest of its kind in the region since 1949. These coins were mainly from Breac Freiburg and Zingen, with some from Basel Street Gallen and other nearby minting places. The area was known for its rich silver deposits in the past, and these coins reflect the wealth and economic importance of the region during the medieval period. After the remarkable discovery, the coins were sent to experts for cleaning and preservation. After extensive research and documentation, these coins are likely to be put on display for the public to see and appreciate. Number 2. A rock. Anyone can move. In the heart of Brittany, France, nestled within the enchanting Well-Goat Forest, lies one of nature's most fascinating and mystifying wonders, the Shaking Rock. This rock weighs a staggering 137 tons or 302,000 pounds, but even a small child can move this seemingly immovable object. The Shaking Rock is perched precariously on a much larger rock base, meaning that as long as the person knows where to push, they can make this heavy rock move without breaking a sweat. The rock rests on a small ridge or peak, allowing it to tilt or shake with a slight push from just the right angle. This unique position gives it a sort of seesaw effect, which is why visitors flock to the Goat Forest for its lush beauty and to experience the surreal feeling of moving a rock that seems far beyond human power. Number 1. A pair of strange eyes on the ground. A man living near a forested area in New Zealand was baffled when he discovered what looked like a pair of eyes on the ground. I don't know about you, but seeing this on the ground will make you think you've stumbled upon a pair of eyeballs. But what are these strange things? They are known as earth stars, as dreamy as their name sounds. Earth stars are nothing more than mushrooms, and they are definitely not as appealing as their names. They are found in various habitats around the world. These peculiar mushrooms get their name from their unique star-shaped appearance emerging. As they mature, young Earth stars resemble small ovals that take on balls or eggs, or in this case, eyeballs. However, when young mushrooms meet the right conditions, their outer shell splits open and the arms fold back, forming a star-like structure around the central sports sac. Unlike other mushrooms, ground stars are inedible and have no value to humans, aside from their peculiar appearance, leading some people to try and collect them. So if you find something strange on the ground, as long as you're in the woods, don't worry, it could just be another mushroom. We've reached the end of this video. Tell us what you think in the comments box. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss future videos like this one. See you next time.